monitoring system inside of WOW. So I would like to have a way to actually get over to that calendar. So I'm going to add a navigation menu item. So here's how I actually create a new link in the left-hand menus. Okay, so I clicked on the navigation menu entry page. It asked me for a menu order. This is a number. So you can number your menu items and they'll go in the right order. And by the way, a best practice is to number your menu items 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, like that, so that you can rearrange them by simply creating an intermediate number. Okay? So here's the menu name, District PE Calendar. No, how about just voting courses? A little better for the general public, right? And then the menu link. Well, gee, where is that link? So I've got to find that, and so there's a really an easy way to do it. I'm just going to go to the District 11 website, and I'm going to open it in a new window here, and here it is. I'm going to go to Public Information, and I'm going to go to Public Voting Courses and Class Calendars. So I'm now going to select the URL that I created here, and I'm going to go back to the other one, and I'm going to paste that URL in. And then the only other decision that you have to make is whether or not you want this page to open up in a separate window or the same window, okay? My philosophy is when you're working with the public and you're going to give them a calendar from your website, open it in a separate window so that they have an easy way of navigating back to your page. And again, this is going to change. This will just be a checklist, a checkbox that says separate window. But right now, I actually have to type some magic code here, which again, I apologize for. Save that. And let me now save menu choices. Let me return to the unit page, and let's see if we got what we wanted to get. So we have the unit calendar there. Let's look down the menu, and there's voting courses. And let me click on voting courses and see if I got what I desired. Yes, bam, the whole thing opens up in a separate window, and there are my voting courses for District 11 settings. Okay? Now I could go on for another 2 hours and show you more features. I'm not going to do that because, again, this was more to familiarize you with this rather than to teach you how to do it. You will figure it out pretty quickly. The documentation is pretty straightforward. It's only 8 pages, and about 8 or 10 pages. It doesn't need to be much more than that because the site's really pretty straightforward. So,
do you have a question now?
Yeah.
In the manual, and one of the sections of the WOW configuration is to use it as a duplicate website or a secondary website. You know the portion that I'm referring to?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've had a little problem with that.
Philosophically, or?
No. Actually.
Okay. One of the links in the left menu item was the third item down was, the third default item was unit website.
Right.
Okay, Flotilla website. And you actually just can go in there and change that link to be the link to your site, your other site. Mm-hmm. And you can, on your other site, you can cross-reference this one with the alpha 114.124.wow.uscgeox.info and cross-reference the two sites, however you want to do it. You can characterize them any way you want. And on the WOW site, you could, for example, this could be all members only. All right?
Well, as most problems, it arose around 3 a.m.
Okay.
What I decided to do was use the original website as a data server and use the WOW website as the actual server.
Okay.
And just ran links back and forth, and it seemed to work fine. But I did have that difficulty with switching back and forth.
We can talk about it offline so
Okay.
I can understand what your problem is. So what else can you do with WOW other than what I demoed? Links to other website I demoed. You can have up to 9 custom pages in addition to the pre-canned pages, the pre-named pages. Again, they're all empty when you start. You can reorder the menu items to your heart's content. The announcements that you put in, I did not demonstrate announcements. It's really straightforward. It's like a headline start date, end date, who posted it, these are all optional items, and then the content, and you can put as many paragraphs as you want, embed photographs, whatever you want to do. And they can be on a protected page, that is a page you have to log in to see, or they can be on a non-protected page. We call them members-only pages or members zone pages. You'll see this more and more. As I said, upload photographs and artwork within reason. Once you get to a limit of 15 megabytes, Dale's bit cops will jump in and tell you that you have too many. Best practice, I recommend that you don't put galleries of photographs on any auxiliary website, but that you get a commercial service where you post your photographs and you link to that and even give it a nice name. So our district website is d11s.org, and we have photos.d11s.org that you go to. There's a smug mode photo site. It's gorgeous. It's the best way to do it, and it doesn't burden our servers with lots of data. Images, as I said, they're uploaded to WOW. They're stored on server, and we're moving to the cloud. And so our servers are we have now 2 physical servers and 1 cloud server, and at the end of this year we'll have all cloud servers. Image folder for each website is supported. The photos are bit reduced when they're uploaded. And like I said, be prudent. Use photos and illustrations to sweeten your site, but do your photo essays somewhere else. And as I said, we reserve the right to limit photos at any time. Now, what if you know HTML? You or some FSO knows HTML. You can use it on any page. If there's some fine-tuning that you want to do that you just can't seem to accomplish, you can do it. You could do that on any page. So it's possible. And there's a button there that's quick that you can go right into HTML and you can geek out for hard content. But except for workarounds, this is not recommended. I don't recommend it at all. First of all, anything you put in HTML then has to be maintained in the future by somebody who knows HTML, and that's against the entire philosophy of this site. So resist the impulse to write HTML. The little what you see is what you get editor has a lot of flexibility, and you should be able to accomplish anything you want to accomplish with that. So the access to your WOW site publicly, right now it's at a development address. Don't use that, don't post that. The site that you want to use is the friendly URL, which is alpha XXXYYZZ, or divisions, just the Y. Too many Y's, sorry. The division, just the first part of that string. And that works now. So this redirect occurs right now, thanks to our head of systems.
Is the other site going away?
No, that won't go away until you abandon it. But we've already had, in my district, that's about 4 WOW sites up now. In fact, they come up and I don't even know about them because that's how easy it is to do. And we've had 2 already that have petitioned me to abandon the sites, their old sites.
What do you do for those sites that are putting up WOWs without telling? I mean, I still think the DSO should have an idea that they've done a WOW. Are you totally relying just on them to let you know, or are we just abandoning that part?
No, nothing has changed there, because if you think about it today, any unit can put up a website. What's the only criteria for a unit website?
Well, if they want a server, they got to go to you.
Yeah, but they don't have to go to you for a server.
No.
Right?
You're right.
Any unit can put up a website. What's the rule? Let's do a test here. What's the rule for putting up a unit website? The governing board of the unit has to approve it. That's the only requirement. Okay? That's all you need to do. And the same for a division site. The governing board has to approve it. So, and that also goes for an air site, by the way. You can get web space from airs. You can petition one of us for space, right? Give it to them, and they can do whatever they want as long as the governing board approves it. However, if they want to list it on the National Flotilla Finder, and they actually want the URL to show up in Aux Officer, which is going to be important, which I'll show you in my next presentation, then it's important that the site meet the national standards. Now, WOW sites are kind of going to pass on a lot of stuff because they meet the standards by default, but you can screw them up by putting in content that doesn't meet it. For example, right now the WOW site doesn't say welcome to the Los Angeles Flotilla on the default homepage. It will, believe me, okay? So let's look under the hood because we are technical people. WOW is created with a virtual server at wow.uscgrx.info, and at that server there's a WOW application. that you're interacting with. Roger?
Yeah, before you leave, move on here, were there multiple levels of passwords so that you could give privileges to people at different levels? They could access only certain pages?
No,
How
we
are
haven't
you
done
handling
that.
that?
We're trying to adopt a more equitable model, more like Wikipedia. You know, Wikipedia, you read something in Wikipedia and you don't think it's right, you can go in and edit it now with no password, and there's an audit trail. What we've decided is we're going to allow the flotilla commander, the vice flotilla commander, and the CS officer to access stuff, or people in the chain above them. We may, like I said before, we may ease up on that and allow other people to do it. And personally, I would like to see any person that has shoulder boards in the flotilla have the ability to edit the site. And if something in there is wrong, it'll get corrected really quickly. All right? And I think we tend to over-control these things. We tend to look at the 1% case, and we control for the 1% case. We should control for the 99% case, and let the occasional 1% problem slip in and correct it as soon as we can, as soon as we find it. That's a personal opinion. That's not official policy of this organization. So at any rate, here we have out in the cloud, we have a virtual server, and on top of it is a database application called WOW, which is what you're interacting with. It's one program for all 1,000 sites, and it has two sets of areas that it has. It has a database of tables of the information that you type in for your unit, and it has a database for documents and images, which you saw me post material to. So when you interact with a WOW dashboard, you are actually putting information, talking to the server, and the server is storing what you type into the single database for the entire auxiliary, for the entire country. And then when the user is over here interacting, they're interacting with the same application and the same tables. The thing that's nice about this is that as we improve WOW, we just drop it in. And nothing changes, except it gets better. It may look slightly different, may be formatted differently, the headers may be different, there may be more features, but everything that you've done up to that point continues to work because it's all content-driven. It's a true content-driven website. So, here's some early returns. Well, one, you've enabled me to create a website for my flotilla. Thank you so much. I am truly grateful. This website was created by the flotilla commander. They don't have an FSO CS. She did it herself. Really exciting. Randy Howe said, as SO for the San Diego Division, I gained sufficient knowledge during a single WOW seminar, this seminar, to quickly create and customize websites for 3 flotillas that have never had one, and they're now operational. So, the summary, WOW offers an immediate web presence to units without websites or webmasters. The sites are built around content and not around complex computer coding. Ordinary mortals are capable of maintaining a WOW site. And the sites can be tailored to however you want them to look by these same mortals to the unit's specific needs. So, your DSOs, and I'm hoping that you will carry this message back, give this presentation to SOs. If you have a district training conference, do whatever you can to get this out. And remember, your number one client is this flotilla commander. Okay? Don't forget that. Give this presentation to division meetings, and the reason for that is flotilla commanders are all there, theoretically. Okay? Invite the FXO CSs to join, make it a big deal. We're having a big WOW presentation tonight. Give this presentation. And, of course, you'll have the source code for this presentation. You can tailor the statistics for your own situation, for your own district and so forth. You can do what I did, appoint an ADSO for unit websites and say your job is to make sure that these flotilla commanders and these CS officers that are not technical know how to do this and get a site up and running that's credible and reflects on the auxiliary. And like I said, his job is 100% websites by 2012. Okay. He's got one other job, and that is he analyzes the other flotillas for stinkers. Okay? Because you want to get rid of the stinkers as well as while you're going this process. And you can gently move them to a WOW site. Now, I've seen something very interesting, and that is